What's up everybody? In this episode we're going to continue taking apart my KTM 250. In case you missed the first episode of the build, I will put a link in the upper right corner so you can watch the first half of disassembling. As you could see in the thumbnail, we will make it all the way to the frame. It was a little bit of a spoiler, but yeah, it's quite exciting, so let's dive right into it. So now we're going to take the rear shock off. That is just this bolt and a bolt on the bottom to the link, 30mm bolt. Let's first take the front wheel off so everything stays a little bit in balance. The motor lift is not going to tip over. It's going to loosen this up. So it's just 10mm bolts. Make sure that you unscrew them one by one. Sometimes they get really tight when you just loosen one up and then all the force of the clamp is going on one bolt. Better to just do it evenly. Same as with the rear wheel, the rear axle, just leave it a little bit in there. I don't have a plastic hammer, so and we're just going to get a socket that will fit nicely in there, and then we can push it out. So it's easy to just lower it before we going to take the front wheel out. Then we don't have to catch it when it's falling down. Just like that. You can just roll the front wheel out. So we're going to take the front off as well. So we need to take the brake caliper of the fork. It's also 10mm. Then we need to take these two 6mm screws off. Front fork covers are being replaced, so we can take them off as well. The downside of new plastic is always putting back tightening device on the new plastic. I don't like that job. If anybody has something to make that easy, just let me know in the comments. Let's just first get my hand guards off. We need to get the throttle housing off as well for the carburetor. Now we can take the brake off. Now we're going to take the front suspension off. Just these 4 10mm bolts on both sides. So we're going to just loosen those up. Same as with the front axle. Just loosen them up evenly, one by one, until you can do it by hand. And then make sure that this one is not falling out. So hold it a little bit with one hand. Able to turn it already. So here it comes. If it's already on the ground, it cannot fall anymore, so that's good. Let's do the other side. Always surprised by how little force these bolts need. Only 12 Newton-meters. There it goes already. Just let them drop down, nice and easy. Now we can take off this cable binder. Need to clean that up. Let's get the carburetor off first by just loosening up the hose clamp. I believe the throttle house is already loose. Yeah, we can take that off. And then we need to be able to get this off. And then we can just slide it out. And when we have the engine out, we will just check the engine and all the other stuff. Let's take this one off. The chain guard or guidance. The 8mm screw and a 10. Just put this one back. So now it's time to get the swing arm off. I'm just going to loosen up this bolt and that bolt. Surprised me how the frame flexes, pushes the frame together. I'll take this one off and then we can take the swing arm off, and after that we can take the linkage off after we got the brake lever off. Then you can just move the swing arm around a little bit and then you can get it off. I'm going to have a look if the bearings of the swing arm need to be replaced as well, but that's for later. No. You can always just get a socket that will go on there and then drive it through. I don't know for sure if it's easier to loosen up all the other engine mounts and bolts before you take this off. So if you have experience with this, I think I'm going to get my other socket and drive it through. I believe this one will fit in there. I can just drive it. Almost there. Lift the swing arm a little bit and then swivel it around. I believe we should be able to get it off then. I'll just leave that in there and then gently push it out. Now I can feel that it's really starting to come loose. See, I can basically get it out. Okay, perfect. So what do we have next? Okay, we can take the rear brake off. Like that. So the rear brake is with a 13mm nut and the original Torx of KTM. So let's get the spring off there as well. Okay, now we can take the linkage off. It's with the 17 it was, yeah. Let's get the chain guider off there as well. We can just put this one back. We can take this one off. Perfect. Still looking nice and greasy, so you have to see. Maybe we're going to replace them because we have everything open now. Half of the work is already done. We have a nice spot for the engine. Let's just save the best for last and now take the triple clamps off. Let's first take the clutch off there and the kill switch. Okay, we can clip this off, that off. Let's put that tiny screw back, keeping everything together. We need to take the counter of the hours off. I think I will just
place these screws back in the triple clamp so I don't lose them. Let's just mark it a little bit, just so we know where it was. So then we can just take the bars off. We can actually use the standard tools of KTM. I could have used that for the rear axle as well. So I will leave this in so it will not drop out. Okay, then we should be able to take it off. Yes, there is a rubber seal and then a cap with a lot of dirt. You can just drive it through. This is quite tight. Perfect. That one needs to be replaced. It's good that we do this. So we can take this one off now. So now let's proceed with the engine. It's quite filthy on top here and I don't have paper towels to close everything off. So I'm first going to get the engine out and then remove the rest. So we're just going to unplug this connector that holds all the electronics from the engine. So you just have to lift this one, this lip, and then pull it. You can pull it out. You can get this tire off, and we're going to get the clutch off. You can just get this cover off. Because it's totally sealed off. Let's just keep that there. And I'll put this one here. Okay, so the only thing we need to do now is loosening up these two bolts. Get these two bolts out and then we can get the whole engine out of the frame. So let's do that now. About 13mm bolts. And the frame is already starting to come loose, or the engine. Lift it a little bit to make it easy to get the bolt out. Now let's see if we can pull it out. So. That's it. Awesome. So now we're going to clean the frame up a little bit. I'll just keep everything together as much as possible. So we only need to remove the, I don't know the name in English, but this is for the ignition. Okay. These are all the cables. We can get this one off. Now we have a cable 3 and the clutch. A little hose. You can still get these ones off. These rubbers hold the fuel tank in place. Let's see one thing more. So that was it. We basically need to clean up the frame a little bit more. The hoses of the cooling system are still in the frame. Before powder coating you need to get that out, and also we need to remove these plugs, and also the foot packs need to come off. And then before we're going to powder coat everything, we need to close all the threads of the bolts off, so none of the powder coating goes into the threads. That way it's easier to mount everything again. And we need to get the nuts of the engine mount out of the frame.
That was all for this video. We're sending the frame off to a company to be powder coated, and we're going to prepare all the parts and clean up all the parts to build the bike up again. Also, I have made a decision on design, so I'm working on getting all the parts. I'm very happy with the design. I hope you guys are going to like it as much as I do. I didn't choose a performance part to change on the bike yet, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like the content, please give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the KTM 250 build. See you next time.